Just a minute to hop on. It's been a while since I have done a Facebook Live. So really quick, just an introduction, because there are a ton of amazing, beautiful women who have been added to this group in the last little while. So quick introduction about me. My name is Laurel Houston. I am the Divine Feminine Enchantress. I am also the creator of body mapping, which is what the majority of this group is about. We do a lot of mentoring in here and really helping women connect with their identity, their relationships and intimacy, and really help them to gain their ability to influence others through power, through money, through manifestation, through all those beautiful things. So couple of things that I'm going to really quick go over so that what I talk about makes sense. Body mapping. For those of you who are new to body mapping, the short version is that every part of your body can be measured with another part of your body. And so when something is in proportion or out of proportion, it tells me about a divine gift or talent or ability that you were born with. Body mapping is the blueprint to help you find your divine reflection. Every person on this earth has a purpose and has an incredible ability and reason why you're here. And so our creator wanted to help you know and understand what that was. And so there is a blueprint or a map on your body. And that's what body mapping explains, is how to read that. So, hey, Ginger, oh, I'm so glad you're hopping on. So couple different things that I wanted to do in this Facebook Live. I wanted to talk about manifestation, how it shows up in your body, and why pleasure is critical to manifesting. So I want to spend just a minute here at the beginning and do a little bit of, vocabulary and definitions. I don't know how to make it not seem like you're in English class. But anyone who does mind work knows that you usually have to do some redefining, some new definitions, because we have all sorts of stories from our past experiences that are creating our current perception and reality. So a couple of the words that I want to help reframe for you. The first one being desire. Desire automatically gets a bad name or a bad reputation because for those in religious communities, I don't know why, but we've always associated desire only with sexual pleasures. But that's not actually what desire is. Desire literally means, it's Latin for the Father, desire. The Father. And so regardless of whether or not you believe your creator to be man, woman, source energy, the universe, whatever, the word desire stems from being in alignment and being connected to God the Father. So even if that word doesn't resonate with you, understand that the root of desire is about alignment. It's about aligning your heart with your mind and your spirit. So when you are doing only mind work, sometimes we forget to include our heart in that. And if you were to look at the body as different tools, your head would be more like a clock and your heart would be your compass. And I tell my clients all the time, when you are feeling lost and you don't know where to go or what to do, stop asking your clock, because all your clock can do is tell you what time it is. You have to ask your compass, which is your heart. So if your head is your compass, if your head is your clock and your heart is your compass, you've got to tune back into that desire, to your heart's desires, to know and understand what it is that you're wanting and where you're going for with this. All of a sudden my room got really hot. All right, so with your heart's desires, desire is a very high vibration, and when it's understood, sometimes people hear desire and they think of lust, which is a very low vibration. So desire is a very high vibration, and it's all about aligning the mind, the body, and the spirit. And so I'm starting with that because it'll help you understand why I use body mapping as a tool. When you can learn to love all the different parts and pieces of your body, you will start listening to your body again. And when you listen to your body, when it's hungry, when it's cold, when it's thirsty, it's easier for you to know how to read the compass. And so because your heart is in your body and not your head, when we choose to not listen to our body, it's really hard for us to listen to desire as well and to have that alignment, mind, body, and spirit to move forward. So, Laurel, what does this have to do with manifestation? Because so many of us are trying to manifest with our head. And your head is a clock. Your head is trying to keep you alive, where your body is trying to allow you to live fully, to live awake. That's why your body has all of the sensory organs, your taste, your touch, your smell. All of those things are our body. And so your body helps you to feel awake and happy, and it's what gives you sensation. The brain is where that is processed, where you process the information you're getting from those senses, but it's really important to tap into your body during manifestation. And so with that being said, I'm going to give this example. This statement, I guess, is a better way to say it. Whatever you put out there comes back to you multiplied, right? Anyone who has done anything with manifestation, laws of attraction, The Secret, whatever, you know this. Whatever you put out there comes back to you multiplied. So when you are trying to manifest, whatever energy you release something in is the energy of the space that you've created. So here's what I mean by that. If you are cleaning your room, you're creating organization, you're decluttering, you're getting rid of stuff because you are trying to create space for something that you want, right? So you know the law of the vacuum. If a void is created, then the universe loves to fill it. So if you are cleaning a room and you're doing it with sorrow and resentment and frustration and anger, that same energy that created the space is what will return to that space. So I'm going to use money as an example with this. So many people try to manifest money. They want they want higher levels of money, right? How are you releasing your money? Are you releasing it with joy? Are you releasing it with excitement? Are you releasing it with anticipation? Or are you releasing it with resentment and fear and frustration? Because that's how it will be returned to you. So here is, I do personal coaching, I do group coaching, and I don't do convincing. I don't do client calls. I don't, if people want in, then they can join and it's great. Because the energy that they give their money is the energy that they then receive from the program. Probably should have fixed my fingernails. Anyways, is the energy in which they receive from the program. So if they sign on to the program in a convince energy, I have to convince them, I have to overcome objections, I have to do all this stuff to get them into the program. If that's what they received, then that's what they'll continue to receive. I'll have to continue to convince them. I'll have to continue to convince them why this is needed, why this works, all of those things. If you pay a bill and you pay that bill with joy and you release the money to your electric company and you release that money with joy, then when you receive it, you'll receive it with joy and you'll receive it in joy. Where if you pay that bill in struggle and frustration and then you release that money in struggle and frustration, it will take struggle and frustration for you to get that amount of money returned to you. Let that sink in for a minute. When you release money with frustration and anger and hardship, you then have to put yourself back into a state of anger and frustration and hardship before you will allow money to come back to you. Yeah, I know, right? That's a big aha. Let it sink in for a minute. So when you release money with joy and excitement, then joy and excitement is what calls money back to you as well. When you release a relationship with anger and betrayal and frustration, until you allow yourself to feel anger and frustration and betrayal, another relationship won't come back to you. So what does this have to do with manifestation? For many of you who are working on creating, you're doing it in push, you're doing it in hustle, you're doing it in hard work, and you're cleaning your room, and it's so arduous. And I've got to make space for this. And your energy goes, oh, okay, well, if this is the space we're creating and this is the energy we're creating it in, then that must also be the energy that we want to receive it in. Noted. Because energy doesn't have good or bad or right or wrong. Energy just matches. I'm going to be so excited to pay my bills on Friday, right? Right. So if you want people to be excited to pay you, you need to be excited to pay other people. It really does. And here's the thing, if you're like, well, I'm not excited I have to pay taxes. Well, are you excited that you have roads that work? Are you excited that you made enough money you actually have to pay taxes? I'm a business owner. I pay a lot of taxes. I pay employee taxes. I pay self-employment taxes. I pay a lot of taxes. And yet I'm so excited to pay those because of what it represents when I pay. I'm so excited to pay my electric bill because I freaking love electricity. Electricity gives me air conditioning in the summertime and heat in the wintertime. Air conditioning gives me electricity, gives me light, it gives me internet, it lets me charge my phone, it lets me watch Netflix. I love electricity. So I very willingly pay my electricity bill, right? Whatever you put out there comes back to you multiplied. People hear this phrase, but they don't actually understand the full meaning behind it. If you are doing something in anger and frustration so that you can create space, I'm going to let go of this relationship and I'm so angry and I'm leaving this relationship. Until you fully allow yourself to feel that anger, you won't be able to receive a new one. I love that I have so many friends that have businesses. I have so many fun options of where my money can go. Exactly. So this isn't, I'm using money as the example because that's where people see the change first. So I really do invite you, as you pay your bills this month, as you buy groceries, be excited that you're buying those groceries. Let's change this to a little bit of a different energy. Are you excited about the food you eat? Do you savor it? Do you enjoy it? Because as you enjoy the food, it is easier for your body to accept it and to receive it into your system. So whatever energy you create the space for, whatever energy you release something back to the universe, is how you get it back. And so this is pretty important with manifesting, because this is where beliefs come in and people are like, but I've changed my mind. I know I don't have to work hard anymore. Okay, but in that work hard energy is how you're trying to manifest. And so the energy of it goes, oh, so until you work that hard again, and then we'll let you have it. And then we'll let you have it. Okay. So manifest in pleasure, manifest in joy. There is a reason why physiologically the creation process is supposed to have so much pleasure. This is why, especially for women, we have anatomy and physiology that is only about pleasure. There you go, Abby. That's perfect. Abigail, sunshine and ice cream. So when you are creating something in hustle and hard, you then have to receive it in hustle and in hard. Creation is meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to be pleasure-filled. It's meant to, no matter how long or how short the experience of creation is, it's meant to be filled with joy and excitement and fun. Because creation energy creates. Duh. So when you are creating in struggle, or scarcity and lack, that's what you're creating more of. And when you're creating in joy and pleasure and forgiveness and healing, that's what you're creating more of. Whether it is a product, whether it's a candle, or you are actually like creating human life, you are doing something at your job, you're creating, you're helping with homework. What energy are you creating it in? Because that's what energy is going to come back to you. So if you create money and hustle, then you have to continue to hustle to receive that money. How many of you have programming that says you have to earn it before you can have it? That sense of I have to earn it comes from I have to work hard. So you create energy of hard. Look how hard I worked. Look how hard I worked. And that's what you create your desire in. That's what you choose. I want to manifest $10,000 this month. And I'm doing it in struggle and hard. And so you have to stay at that same level of hard for it to come to you. One of the number one questions I get asked is, how do I want to say it? I'm trying to keep this G-rated. So I get asked often, Laurel, it seems like you spend a lot of your time in pleasure and in joy and in fun. Do you actually have a successful business? Yes, so much so. And in fact, the more pleasure I am in, the more peace I am in, the more calm I am in, the easier my business has become. Women's energy, feminine energy, thrives on pleasure and desire. And desire is alignment, mind, body, and spirit with the creator, with source energy. So when you know what your heart is desiring, when you know what you're longing for, and you say, oh, that would bring me so much joy, that would bring me so much excitement, that would really bring value to my life, and that is the energy that you start to take inspired action in, then that's the energy you receive it in. As soon as you go, oh, that's my heart's desire, and I'm going to work my butt off until I get it, I'm going to strive so hard for that, then you have to continue to strive so hard for that. What does working in flow look like versus hustle and hard? Okay, so the biggest thing is inspired action. When I say, okay, this is what I want. I'm going to use the same example I did before. I'm going to have a 10K month. In hustle and grind, that means I'm pushing clients. I'm doing all sorts of reach outs. I am putting all of my time, energy, and thought into, if I just did more, then more will come to me. Except what comes to me is more struggle and push and hustle. So what it looks like in flow is I take inspired action, and sometimes that inspired action is getting myself into a newer, higher vibration, which means I'm in a state of peace and I'm in a state of relax, so that when money comes to me, it comes to me relaxed and peaceful instead of struggle and hustle and grind. So one of the things I get asked a lot, especially from business owners, is, well, I can't just sit on my couch and think emails are going to write themselves. Correct. I write my emails, but I also know that if I wait until a certain time of day, those emails are not getting written. So this is where I go, okay, when does it feel light and easy for me to sit down and type out a month's worth of emails and schedule them and get them ready for delivery? Versus, oh, I don't want to do this and I'm going to force myself to do it. And because I'm in force push energy, it comes across in the emails, it comes across in the invitations. One of the reasons I haven't done Facebook Lives in a while is because there were a lot of things that I didn't want to be in push energy when I showed up. I just wanted to show up and give. And for those who are open to receiving, I want them to be able to receive. So when I show up, I make sure that I am in the energy of, this is available to you. And if it feels right, then do it. And if it doesn't, then don't. So what it looks like in hustle and grind is probably what you're already doing. You have a coach or a mentor that says, if you want 10 clients a month, then you have to do 100 reach outs. And it actually weighs heavy on you to even think about having to do 100 reach outs. So then you just procrastinate it and you don't do it. Versus my current inspiration action feels more like hustle and grind. So that's programming. That's not inspiration. Inspiration will never tell you to push beyond your capacity or beyond your means. Inspired action means that it's like, okay, you need to do this with decisiveness and certainty, and you need to do it quickly. But there's no severe, harsh consequence if it's not done. So Esther, one thing that I would invite you to kind of fill into is, I can do less and still be enough. I can do less, and I can allow source energy, God, the universe, to do the other part. But what happens is things don't happen fast enough because we're in our head, and our head is a clock. And our head is like, we thought this would be happening sooner. And our heart is like, well, this was a 10-step process. And you only allowed yourself to receive step 1, 2, and 3, and then you stopped listening and took action. So can you tap back into your heart, and we'll give you the rest of the steps and make this easier for you? That used to happen to me a lot. So now I just complete a step and I see where it goes. And a big part of being in flow is trust and surrender. I actually posted this on my wall the other day. Let your new hard work be learning how to get into faith, flow, and surrender. I can do less and attract more. Exactly. And one of the reasons why we've told ourselves, I have to keep doing more, because we think if I do less, then I'm less than, which means I'm not enough. But if I do more, then I deserve more. Then I've earned it. Then I've done my part and I can have more. No. You can do less and still be enough. You can do less and still have your heart's desires, because desire is not predicated on earning anything. If your heart is leading you towards it, the universe has already paved a way, and your job is to get in a place where you can receive that inspired action. And the beautiful part about it is it may feel stretchy, but stretchy isn't heavy. So if you're getting what you think is desired inspiration, and it seems very heavy, and it seems very daunting, it seems very impossible, that is not inspired. That is your brain saying, well, this has worked in the past, so let me put it in a different package and see if she'll open it up. Because your brain's trying to keep you alive. Inspired action may feel like you're being stretched, but it doesn't feel like you're being weighed down. It may make you go, oh, okay, yep, I don't know how to do that, but I'm still willing. When we are letting our brain take over, as soon as I don't know how shows up, then our brain goes, it's impossible, we have to work hard. If we work harder, then we'll get it. Tell me one thing that you've ever worked hard for, that when you finally received it, you went, oh, that was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. No, you worked really, really hard. You got it. And then you went, all right, now I have to work hard to sustain it. I have to work hard to maintain this. If I ever want this again, I have to continue to work this hard. But what if you just went, oh, I get to work in joy. I get to work in peace. And I can still have what I want. Trust, surrender, flow. Yep. I have this vision for my life that is so in flow. All right, so here's the next step of that. It's good that it's in flow, but you can be in a boat on a river and be in flow and still be paddling the crap out of it. So there's a difference. I'm going to keep with this analogy for just a minute. If you're in a kayak and you're going down a river, you can be in flow and still be in hustle, because you're like, oh, I've got to get to my destination as quick as possible. So instead of just letting the river and the river's current send me on my way, I'm going to paddle the crap out of this boat. And I'm not going to look at the scenery, and I'm not going to enjoy it. And when I get to my destination, I'm going to be so exhausted that I can barely safely get to shore. So then there is what a lot of people mistake as flow, and it's actually disempowered energy, where they're like, I'm just going to sit in my kayak and throw my oars away because I'm in flow. And all of a sudden you're in rapids and you're like, I'm going to die. Why did I go into flow? Well, that wasn't flow. That was numb. That was you completely disconnecting from source energy, completely connecting from your body and going, if I do nothing, my life will be easier. No, if you do nothing, it's because you're in overwhelm and exhaustion, and that's why you're choosing to do nothing. Because you're like, I don't want to paddle. I'm tired. I am just going to let the river take me away. So here is what flow and inspired action looks like. You're in your kayak and you are using your paddle to steer you from one safe point in the river to the next safe point in the river. So that when you get to your destination, you saw the bald eagle in the tree on the shore, and you noticed other people on the river. And the only time you had to paddle was to make sure you stayed on course. But you recognized your job was not to increase the flow. Your job was not to make it go any faster. Your job was just to stay on course. And then when you get to your destination, you're like, that was amazing. And I am so ready to continue down the river because all I had to do was stay on course. All I had to do was allow my energy to stay in peace and certainty. So I'm going to really quickly go over this because I really try to keep these videos to a half an hour or less because I want to honor everybody's time. Certainty is what most people are talking about when they talk about have a positive mindset. Well, you can think happy thoughts, and that's a positive mindset, but certainty means that you have 100% assurance that you will meet your destination. So your heart's desire is your destination. And when you go, yep, that is what I want. How I get it is not mine to figure out. But that is what I want. That is my destination. And here is the river that will get me there. So I'm going to get in flow, and I'm going to paddle, and I'm going to stay on track. And I'm going to take those inspired actions that say, turn right, turn left. And although I might have to stretch, it doesn't feel heavy or like I am grinding or like I'm hustling. It feels like, yes, I'm staying on path, and I can look at that, and I can look at that, and I'm not in danger of crashing when I am enjoying the world around me. I can do less and still create. I can do less and still have my heart's desires because my heart is my compass. And if I can get out of my head, then I can get my heart's desire. So I have a feeling I need to do another follow-up video with this, but I want to kind of see what questions people have. So put them in the chat on this video, and if I need to, I will do a second clarification of this, because here's the big piece to this. Creation is meant to be pleasured. It's meant to feel good. It's meant to have joy. It's meant to have connection. So when you are creating things in life, not in pleasure and not in joy, even when you get them, it's not satisfying. But when you allow yourself to use that creation energy in pleasure, in joy, in your heart's desires, then when you receive them with joy, you receive them with gratitude, you receive them with peace. And no part of you goes, we didn't earn this. Every part of you goes, it feels so good to receive this because it felt so good to create it. Watch this video again. There were so many things in here that can really be very powerful to shift, and none of them are hard. That's the point of this. The hard part will be convincing your brain that you no longer have to earn it, that you can just enjoy it and it can still be yours. Ladies, I love you. I hope that this was helpful, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.